Mr. President, since you attacked CNN, can I ask you a question?
John Roberts, go ahead, John. No. John Roberts, go ahead. CNN's fake news. I don't take questions. I don't take questions from CNN. CNN is fake news. I don't take questions from CNN. John Roberts of Fox. Let's go to a real network.
Let me get to Jim Acosta, who joins us now from Checkers. Jim Acosta, are you with me?
Sure.
So, Jim, you tried valiantly to get a question in. The president said, and I quote, "I don't take questions from CNN." Yeah. What were you trying to ask him?
Yeah. Well, he does take questions from CNN. He took a question from me in Singapore at the conclusion of his summit with Kim Jong-un. But putting that aside, perhaps his own version of fake news there in saying that. I did try to ask a question at the very end of that press conference. I'm not sure if you heard it because the president and the prime minister were leaving the scene here. I asked Mr. President, will you tell Putin to stay out of U.S. elections? And he did turn and say yes. So, the question that has been phrased to him in recent weeks has been, will you raise the issue of meddling with Vladimir Putin? That seems to get to the issue of whether or not they meddled in the 2016 election. What you hear a lot of people raising the question of up on Capitol Hill and around Washington is whether or not Vladimir Putin will meddle in the midterm elections, meddle in the 2020 elections. That obviously has people very, very worried. It would be obviously another direct attack on our democracy. And so I thought I better ask him the question, will you tell Vladimir Putin to stay out, to butt out of U.S. elections? And he did turn, after he went after us during that press conference, he did turn as he was leaving with the prime minister and said yes. So we do expect the president now, he told us that, unless that was his version of fake news, we do expect the president to now raise that with the Russian President Vladimir Putin when they meet in Helsinki. But obviously during that press conference, and I think you guys were touching on this, perhaps the most striking thing during that news conference is this issue of immigration and the president saying very candidly that he feels that the immigration issue is a powerful tool for him, and he plans on using it right into the midterm elections.
Right.
And essentially, he was admitting that it isn't very politically correct what he has to say, but he feels it's effective.
He said it's not politically correct, but I'll say it and I'll say it loud. Jim Acosta, to you, I'll ask the same question that I asked Christian right out of this presser. It seems to me certainly like on almost all fronts, except for immigration, the president blinked and Theresa May won, in a sense.
That's right. I mean, and we saw this in Germany. He criticized Angela Merkel behind the scenes and actually in front of the cameras with Jens Stoltenberg, the NATO Secretary General, saying that they're a captive of Russia. But when he had the opportunity sitting next to Angela Merkel in front of the cameras, he did not repeat that criticism. And he sort of had the same opportunity here at the very start of this news conference. He said, well, the Sun tabloid didn't report all of the things that I said, and essentially bashed the press, bashed that tabloid as being fake news. Well, of course, they're his words. He said these things, and he sort of bent over backwards and was very effusive in praising the prime minister when he was standing next to her. So this is a pattern that we do see from the president, where he goes after his opponents. He'll go after them at a rally. He'll go after them when he's not right next to them, but he doesn't very often go to them. Go after them to their face, except I suppose when it's us in the press, then he doesn't doesn't mind too much coming after us to our faces. But he declined that opportunity with Theresa May. That's right.